Namaskaram to all viewers of Jyotirmark. Dear viewers, as commanded by Duryodhan, Pratikami, Duryodhan's charioteer, went to the palace where the Pandavas were staying. There he met Draupadi and told her that Yudhishthira played dice with Draupadi a stake and lost her. And now she is a maid and Duryodhan has commanded her to come to the assembly. Draupadi said, "How is it possible? As Yudhishthira has so many other valuable things and wealth to offer, why should he stake me in the game of dice?" Pratigami replied that he had nothing else to offer as stake as he had already lost all his wealth, his brothers and himself. Draupadi then told him to go back and ask Yudhishthira this question: who was lost first, whether Yudhishthira lost himself first or he had lost her first? Pratigami went back and told Yudhishthira that Draupadi is asking him who was lost first, himself or Draupadi. In his state of utter embarrassment, Yudhishthira didn't give any reply to this question. Then Duryodhan told the charioteer to ask Draupadi to come to the assembly. Then she herself can ask this question to Yudhishthira. A very distressed Pratikami went back to Draupadi and told her that those who are in the assembly are summoning her. Then, speaking as if he is speaking to himself, Pratikami said that this is going to be the end of the Kauravas. Draupadi said, "Maybe Brahma has ordained it like this. Sorrow and happiness befall on the wise and the unwise in the same manner. But morality or dharma is above everything. It is said that the one who protects dharma will be protected by dharma. It will not befit the Kauravas to forget or to defy their own dharma. Go back and tell these words of mine to those greats who are present in that assembly. I am prepared to obey those virtuous elders who will now tell me what is right and what is wrong." Going back to the assembly, Pratigami repeated Draupadi's words, but those virtuous elders did not respond to that. Instead, they all sat with their faces bent down, well aware of the determination and resolution and angry nature of Duryodhan. Seeing the Pandavas in their state of distress and sorrow, a happy Duryodhan told his charioteer once again to go back and bring Draupadi to the assembly. But afraid of facing the anger of that Panchala princess who was born out of the flames of Yajna fire, Pratigami asked those elders at the assembly what is their reply to what Draupadi had told them. Thereupon, Duryodhan spoke to his brother Dushasan like this: "Dushasan, this Pratigami is afraid of Bhim. Our enemies are now dependent on us. They cannot do anything. So you go now and bring that Yajnaseni here in front of me." On his brother's words, Dushasan, with bloodshot eyes, got up from his seat and approaching Draupadi, spoke to her like this: Come, come Krishna, you Panchala princess. Come and accept as your lords as we have won you. You are now our Dasi and you start serving us now. Come to the assembly now and meet Duryodhan." Seeing the cruel looks in Dushasan's eyes and listening to his words, Draupadi got up fast and crying aloud ran to the place where the Kuru ladies were sitting together. But Dushasan shouted and ran behind her saying, "Where are you running? Stop there, you wretch!" And he caught hold of her long, dark and beautiful hair. Dushasan seized that queen's hair, which had been sprinkled with the sanctified and sacred water of the Rajasuya Yajna, and pulled her backwards, causing her to fall down on the floor. Then he started dragging her towards the assembly. Draupadi, the Pandava queen, had the 5 invincible heroes to protect her, but at this time none of them were there to save her from this wicked Kuru prince. Crying with untold pain and grief, she spoke to him saying that she is going through those recurring difficult days of the month and asked him not to drag her forcibly like this. And she told him that she is attired in a single cloth and she is not dressed properly to enter an assembly where the public and other elders are sitting. Again crying, she called aloud the names of Lord Vishnu, Hare, Krishna and Narayana. While dragging her on the floor like that, Dushasan said, "Whether you are going through your season or not, even if you are wearing a single cloth or not, and even if you are not wearing any cloth or not, the only thing that matters now is that you have been won by us in the game of dice and that you are now our slave and dasi." And whether a Dasi deserves to wear anything or not, that is our decision. By the time Dushasan had brought Draupadi to the assembly, that queen of the Pandavas was trying her best to keep her single cloth intact. In her state of distress, Draupadi pleaded with Dushasan not to make her stand in front of those who are seated in that assembly. She said, "Great men and elders who are to be respected and who are equal to Indra himself are present here. You wretch, do not uncover me. I shall not stand like this in front of those great gurus and elders. Even if you are protected by Devendra himself, my husbands will not forgive you for this." Then that princess who had taken birth from the flames of the fire asked like this, "Why is the great Bhishma Pitamaha and Guru Drona not stopping this injustice? Single-handedly you can defy this whole world. Even then, why are you silent? Which Shastra allows a woman to be insulted and molested like this? Which Shastra allows you to sit silent without stopping this crime which is taking place in front of your own eyes? And what has happened to the Dharma and Niti of King Dhritarashtra? Has this Kuru race deteriorated into a state of Mahapab and Adharma? Her mighty husbands, the 5 Pandava brothers, were not distressed this much by the loss of their kingdom or their wealth. But the sight of Draupadi being molested and manhandled in front of them filled their mind and body with terrible wrath and vengeance. And then, laughing aloud, Dushasan called her, Hey Dasi, and pulled her left and right, gripping her long hair strongly with his hands. When Dushasan repeatedly addressed her as Dasi, Karna and Shaguni laughed aloud and cheered him, and Duryodhan sat there approving and enjoying those atrocities. Excepting Karna, Shaguni and Duryodhan, all others who were present in that large Kaurava assembly were filled with shame and sorrow, but no one among them dared to move a finger or speak a word against Duryodhan and his men. Thereupon, Bhishma spoke like this, O Draupadi, one who is already a slave does not have the right to pledge you or stake you after he has been enslaved. But being his wife, when Yudhishthira was enslaved, without saying, you also were enslaved with him. So also, Shaguni has won this game by unfair means, which makes this whole game of dice illegitimate and invalid. But disregarding Kshatriya traditions and systems, Yudhishthira could have refused to play this game with a cheat like Shaguni. No one could have forced him to continue with the game. So the game was played with Yudhishthira's approval, which makes it valid and legitimate. Once again, Yudhishthira will abandon and sacrifice this whole earth with all its wealth for his dharma. And based on his own dharma, Yudhishthira has accepted failure. So wherein lies dharma and adharma here? I do not have an answer. And I do not have any means to decide which side is right or wrong in this situation. Draupadi said, My husband, Samrat Yudhishthira, has never deviated from the path of dharma, and in future also he will not do so. He didn't walk into this assembly hall by his own will. There was a conspiracy. It was all planned in advance. He was diplomatically summoned to this assembly. My husband is not skilled in the game of dice, as by all Shastras it is considered to be a sinful game. A syndicate of cheats, frauds, and experts in deceit and foul play were waiting for him. Many people joined together and made a plan and then summoned him here. Then they persuaded and challenged him, thereby entrapping him into playing this game. And those who sat against him were those who are notorious in all 3 worlds as the masterminds of deceit in real life as well as in gambling. And still, your dharma cannot decide what is right and what is wrong. Then you say that along with the husband, the wife also has been won by them. But they did not think so. That is why they forced him again to play with me as stake. Still, you cling on to your false arguments. Is this your interpretation of dharma? With these questions, Draupadi made Bhishma to sweat from his head to his feet. And the truth of her words hit all others sitting in that assembly, just like that most powerful Brahmastra. But all these arguments didn't make any change or difference in Dushasan. Now he started dragging her all around in the center of that assembly hall. And now he started abusing and insulting her with rude and disagreeable words and language. Seeing this, Bhim became very angry about Yudhishthira playing dice with Draupadi as stake. Bhim said that Yudhishthira alone is responsible for her miserable plight. Because of Yudhishthira only, now these mean and dirty-minded Kauravas have got this opportunity to insult and mistreat her like this. In his anger, Bhim said, Sahadeva, bring me some fire. I will now burn both hands of Yudhishthira for this injustice. Thereupon, Arjun spoke to Bhim like this, What happened to you, elder brother? Till now, you have never spoken words like this. When you speak like this, you are fulfilling the objectives of our enemies as they want us to fight among ourselves. Our brother has not deviated from the path of Dharma. He was summoned to this assembly, and he has just followed the rules which a Kshatriya king is bound to follow. How can you find fault with him for that? Bhima realized his mistake and said, O Dhananjaya, what you said is true. Seeing Draupadi like this, I just lost my control. Meanwhile, with the support and applauding of Karna, Shaguni and Duryodhan, Dushasan was still dragging Draupadi on the floor of that assembly. Then, one of the sons of Dhritarashtra by name Vikarna got up and addressed that assembly like this. O elders and kings, the question asked by this Panchala princess deserves to be answered. As per the scriptures, when legitimate questions are not answered, that is a deviation from the path of Dharma, and we are bound to suffer for that. Bhishma Pitamaha, King Dhritarashtra, Dronacharya, and Kripacharya are all upholders of Dharma. Still, why are you all silent on this matter? There are many other kings also here in this assembly who are all assigned by the gods to maintain law and order and to impart justice to those who seek justice. Aren't you all duty bound to answer this question? Even after appealing repeatedly to those who were assembled there, nobody spoke a word as an answer to Draupadi's question or as an answer to what was spoken by Vikarna. Thereupon, Vikarna spoke again like this. O elders, kings and Kurus, you may all speak or not speak as you wish, but I shall now speak what I feel is right. The four vices of a king are said to be hunting, drinking, gambling, and women. One who is addicted to even one of these is said to have lost his virtue. This Yudhishthira is renowned for his virtuous nature and deep-rooted dharma. Gamblers who were nothing but unfair and deceitful forced him to play with Draupadi as a stake. But Draupadi does not belong to Yudhishthira alone. All five Pandava brothers have equal rights on her. So Yudhishthira alone cannot play with Draupadi as a stake. That makes this Panchala princess free of all bindings of this game. Moreover, Yudhishthira was already enslaved when he staked Draupadi. After being a slave, he doesn't have any rights. So once again, Draupadi is not bound by Shaguni winning over Yudhishthira in that last game of dice. Above all, whatever has taken place here is nothing but a series of foul, unfair and deceitful game of dice. So in fact, Samrat Yudhishthira has not lost anything, and this cheat by name Shaguni has not won anything. When Vikarna ended his speech, except the trios Duryodhan, Shaguni and Karna, that whole assembly stood up and approved and cheered Vikarna and clapped their hands. They also kept on saying that Shaguni has cheated, and so these games are all null and void. Listening to Vikarna's words, and then seeing how that assembly had accepted and appreciated his views, Karna got up and roared at Vikarna in extreme anger like this. Hey Vikarna, these elders and kings who are present here did not give any reply to Draupadi because they all knew that she had been won by the Kauravas. So they don't have anything to tell her. You being Duryodhan's brother also, you couldn't differentiate between dharma and adharma, between what is right and what is wrong. Hey Vikarna, you fool! Based on which code of conduct did you pronounce that Draupadi has not been won by the Kauravas? When Yudhishthira admitted that he has staked and lost all his wealth and possessions, you should have understood that Draupadi is also included in it. Thus, Draupadi has also been won by the Kauravas. Why should you then alone feel that she has not been enslaved? You are young, but you speak like the elders, and yet what you speak is all nonsense and rubbish. You may also say that bringing her into this assembly in a single attire is also wrong. But let me tell you that it is also fully justified. It is ordained that a woman should be married only to one man. But this Draupadi has several husbands. How can she be a chaste woman when she is living with several men? When she is a slave and also an unchaste woman, whether she is wearing a single cloth or not wearing any cloth at all is not a matter of any significance. Then that Karna with his diabolic and evil mindset turned towards Dushasan and spoke like this. O Dushasan, this Vikarna is acting like a wise man, but he is nothing but a fool. Now you prove to him that the Pandavas and this Draupadi are our slaves. Disrobe them, Dushasan. Let us prove to them who are the slaves and how we can deal with them. Listening to the words of Karna, those 5 Pandava brothers removed all their clothes and in their embarrassment sat down on the floor of that assembly. Yudhishthira, who was the only Samrat in Aryavarta, and his 4 brothers sat down fully naked on the floor of that Kaurava assembly. But since Draupadi didn't do like that, Dushasan caught hold of her attire and tried to pull it away and remove it from her body. At that moment, Draupadi, that Panchala princess, thought of Hari and crying aloud said like this, O Govinda, O Krishna, who dwells in Dwaraka, O Gopi Janapriya, are you not aware of this humiliation that I am facing now? O Keshava, O Lord, O Ramnatha, O Golokanatha, O Santapanashana, O Lakshmipade, O Lord of Vrindavan, O destroyer of all sorrows, please save me, please protect me as I am sinking in this disgraceful Kaurava ocean. O Krishna, O Krishna, O Mahayogin, O soul of this universe, O creator of this universe, I am being disgraced and humiliated by these Kauravas. Save me, O Lord, protect me, O Lord. Praying like this, unable to face this humiliation, she covered her face with her palms. While crying aloud in disgrace, without the gap of even a second, she prayed with her mind and soul, thinking of Krishna, the Lord of all 3 worlds. Dear viewers, here ends this episode of our summarized rendering of Rishi Vedvyasa's timeless epic Mahabharata. Harihi Om.